Hey guys, it's Welps. Welcome to my Twisted Laboratory Trial Tier 5 guide. Okay, so every time he does his Wrath attack, he summons 2 shadows. These target random 2 players and they dash towards them. So whenever he does the Wrath attack and when he dashes in the next phase. It's not that big of a deal. Avoid if you can, but it can easily be healed through. Okay, so in this phase, the boss will jump on a random player instead of a furthest target for the fear. At the same time, the boss throws the boomerang on the 2 furthest players. So they just need to run out away from the group. And they also gotta be spread apart each other so the boomerang doesn't bounce. And you have to block the boomerang with the Q block. Alright, so before the pull, you have to number people to assign roles and they need to understand what they have to do. So first, you want the staff player to be number 1. That's going to be me in this video. And you're going to need a pull skill. This is to minimize the risk of RNG crystal placement. As I said, the fear is going to be on a random player. Because you don't want the crystal to be close to the center, like about here, or like far back. So I just stand about here. And then I pull whoever gets feared. And then depending on the number, your 2, 3, 4 comes in. So the 2, 3, 4s would have to come to me instead of chasing a feared person. And you would also want to try to pull the person before the mech ends. If you pull too early, they can still get feared and walk into the center. And you would also have to set rules for different scenarios. And I'll just tell you what our group did. So if the number 4 was feared and the number on top was 3, the one would pull 4 in. And the lowest number would come in, so 2 to make 3. 1, 2, 3. If any of them gets feared and the number is 2, nobody has to do anything. I just pull them and it'll make 2. If I get feared, it's just RNG. If I go into center, it's GG. And I'll also just number these other 2. They will automatically be 5 and 6. The fear is random, so even the tank can get feared. So if the tank gets feared, I would have to pull him in. That means we need another person to run out and bait the boomerang. And it's best if the 4 does it. So this is when either of these guys get feared. So like if your tank was feared and the fear number was 4, you have 1, 2, 3 coming in to make up 4. And then 4 run out. And then the boss is gonna do the AoE debuff. Gotta stay in the circle to get rid of it. After the second Fury attack, the boss is gonna select 2 furthest players. They're gonna get marked with a skull. And the boss is gonna throw a big spinning blade that follows us. So you need to assign who wants to be the 2 furthest player and 1 has to be a healer. And you also gotta make sure that these blades do not hit the crystal, otherwise it'll destroy the crystal. So you gotta be off to the side. So do not have the crystal in between you and the boss. And these 2 gotta make sure they stay the furthest because the boss will throw the boomerang again. So we kite the blade. This can be easily healed through. And there's the boomerang. So you also want to stay apart so the boomerang doesn't bounce. After you block the boomerang, this red orb will drop and do damage, so you need to run out immediately. And then you just get healed on top of the fountain. If you're on opposite ends like that, you don't get overlapped by the blades. And as we are kiting the blades, after this dash, you need the remaining 3 DPS to interact with the crystal. And then they will go back to the boss, DPS the boss, and they will have 1 more Wrath attack to dodge. But these guys don't have to because they're out of range. So yeah, these 2 just stay far away. The Wrath attack range for the boss is about like this. And everyone would have the red orb on top of the head to drop these puddles. So we all go to the walls. And everyone is also going to have a fear circle that if you touch the circle, you get feared. So you can't get too close to each other. You gotta spread apart. And then we get into our positions. So you assign 3 players within your parties to break the crystal. So if that's the crystal, you form a triangle like this. Or you can also just stand in straight line, just make sure the fear circle doesn't touch each other. But you still gotta be close enough so that all the boomerangs ricochet 3 times to break the crystal. And the other 3 that are not on crystal duty has to be close to the boss, close to the center. Because the boss is gonna throw the boomerang at the furthest players. This is why the crystal placement was very important in first phase. That's why we used the pull skill to control the crystal location. It's too hard to get in position if the crystal is too close or too far. So yeah, these circles you can overlap, you just gotta not touch the player. You break the crystal and then we go into the safe spot. Also, after you block the throw, remember how these red orbs drop and do damage? These 2 players at the back must be careful not run into the dropping red orb in front. We had cases where these guys block and then the safe spot was like here. So he would run straight to the safe spot, but on his way, he got hit by the red orb in front and he died. So yeah, just small tip, be careful of that. And that is the end of all the mech, and now it's just rinse and repeat. GG's, good luck. I will just let the video play through for the clear POV.